I mean, as far as scheduling goes, are we ahead of schedule, behind schedule? How are we doing on construction?
It's safe to say right on schedule, maybe a little ahead, but you got to be careful because you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But certainly everything's looking good.
Well, that's exciting because I know I have a class in there next year, so I'm very looking forward to, to see what it looks like. Is there any purpose for the building? Is there any specific studies that are going to be going on, or is it going to be kind of a hodgepodge of all different kinds of classes and
Well,
disciplines?
it's a little of both of that, really, because there's 44 classrooms, so lots of classrooms, and so everybody will have classes over there. But we will have the offices of international education, counseling and testing, career services, campus climate. Some of the really important offices on the campus will be right in that building. And then there'll also be the departments of communication studies, philosophy, women's sexuality and gender studies, if I'm remembering all those correctly. So, it won't be kind of like just one building, in terms of one department or one identity, but it will have, some destinations in there.
Well, I know the communications people are looking forward to it.
I know, yes.
Yeah, I had my speech class upstairs in the CFA, and they were talking about looking forward to this new building, so that's really exciting. Another topic I'd like to bring up is I know Chartwell's their contract is ending this year, and I enjoy Chartwell's, but then again, change is good, but then again, change can be bad as well. So anything you can tell us about the contract ending, any ideas where we might go from there?
Well, we've had a great partnership with Chartwell's, and they take great care of me. I mean, I'm a vegan, which is a little unusual, and they always get me what I need and anybody else that has, special needs and things. But, it's a business relationship, too. And we have the contracts, and it's when we make the deal, we say it'll be for a certain number of years, and then we're going to put it out to bid and see, who the best deal is for our students. So that's what we'll be doing in the fall, and I know Chartwell's will be very competitive on that. We'll see who else is interested. I hope that no matter who we go with, that they keep the great people who are on site right now, because they do a fantastic job.
That's cool. I mean, so you mentioned that you were a vegan, obviously. So, are they doing any vegan specials or anything, or like did they do that especially for you, or do they try to do that for all students that might be?
Well, I think they do it for all students, but when they know it's me, they sort of go the extra distance. And right now you can go over to the galley and you can get a stir fry with tofu, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. So, what else is going on with campus? Anything coming up? Anything exciting? I mean.
Well, here at the end of the year, the excitement is all the ceremonies and recognition and things, and then we'll have commencement. And for me, that's the best day of the year, because I get to shake all those hands, about 1,400 hands.
Oh, wow.
And, sometimes people are, kind of, yeah, whatever, but most people, when you're giving them the degree and shaking the hand, they're pretty excited. So I get all that energy, and I go home, and I'm just like, wow, it's an incredible feeling.
That's awesome. Has anyone ever tripped getting their diploma?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Seen it all up there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, what do you do? Does everyone freeze, or, I mean, what happens?
You just say, hey, look at that, ha, 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 and we have fun with it. Because that's what I tell people. I mean, I don't know when you're going to graduate, but, I'm shaking all those hands. If you want to do something, a little bit different, like people watching here today, hey, have some fun with it. Although I cannot do a chest bump.
Oh,
people have asked
okay.
me that because I have this medallion, and it's this big piece of metal, and I think that would be a little hard on our chest.
Oh, man. Well, just for future students that are watching it, do not chest bump the chancellor.
At least not at commencement.
Not at commencement.
See me out on campus.
Or
make
sure the medallion is not being worn.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, that's really interesting, because I'll be graduating in a couple of years, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. So, anything else you can tell us? What about the new dorm building that's being built?
We call them residence halls. I mean, my day was dorm, but now it's residence hall. Eagle Hall, that the students want to call it that, and that'll be open in the fall as well. And wow, just like you have classes scheduled in Centennial, we have people who are going to live in Eagle, so we got to get that done on time. And they tell me it is on schedule, and I was just running the other day, and I went by there, and wow, it even has the name on it, and that's going to be 500 beds. That'll be the biggest building on the UWL campus of all, so it's pretty exciting. When you add up The stadium, the new academic building, and the new residence hall, it's about $110 million in improvements we've been able to make to the campus. So my mom likes to hear that her son's doing all that big money stuff.
Well, that's really exciting stuff. Well, I want to move on to a more personal subject. We have some student questions, some questions that we've accumulated over the past week. And this one comes from Nate J. This one's kind of funny. If you could have one perfect day, how would you spend it?
Oh, gee, you know, I think I have those already all the time. Today is promising to be a perfect day, too, and how it's going to end. So
oh, really? So things have been going good today?
Yep, very good. Even with the snow. So.
Yeah, the snow's been kind of nuts, but don't let it get in your way, man.
No
way. Here's another question from Tyrell, who actually helped produce this show, so this is exciting. He goes, what was your favorite band when you were our age?
Well, you know what? I'm seeing a sign that says send a commercial, so why don't we do that, and when we come back, I will tell you about my favorite band.
Sounds like a plan. You're making this easy on me. I love it.
I'm trying.
All right.
We give so much attention to the philosophers of ancient Rome that we often forget that Romans had some great inventors, too. Hero of Alexandria is maybe the best example of Roman ingenuity. Hero of Alexandria was born in the year 10 AD. He is credited with the creation of the steam engine during the 1st century AD. He's called the invention the aeropile, but it is also known as the hero's engine. At the time, it didn't have any practical uses. It just kind of spun around in circles. In fact, it wasn't until over 1,700 years later that the Industrial Revolution put the steam engine to good use. But he laid the foundation for using steam as a method of harnessing energy. Hero created a variety of more useful inventions over his lifetime. His experiments with pressure, for example, led to the invention of the fire engine. Next time you buy a Coke from a vending machine, say thanks to Hero. He created the world's first vending machine, but it was designed to sell holy water. Ah, refreshing. Hero of Alexandria is not the most known Roman, maybe because he was a man 1,000 years ahead of his time. His genius really helped lay the foundation for our modern world.
UWL is the best university it can be, and that it keeps moving forward so that when we're out there with our UWL shirts and caps and it's on your car, people say, wow, UW La Crosse, great school. You know, not that it used to be good and it went downhill, but we want to make sure it keeps getting better, so that's my goal.
Well, I think it has been getting better. I mean, as a freshman, I remember coming here, even Chartwell's, I mean, it was good, but now as a junior, I got to say, everything's way better now.
Oh, well, so, it's good to hear.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. I'm loving it.
Thank you. In Chartwell's, that's their thing, so I'm not over there cooking, so they were doing something right. So.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, everything changes every year. It's always new, so that's kind of cool.
Well, thank you.
All right, last question from students is from Scott J., who will actually be on the show in a little bit after you, so that's kind of interesting. But he wants to know, what were you like at age 22?
Well, probably not that different than I am now. You know, I still like to do a lot of the same things and to have fun and, you know, keep life interesting. And that's the challenge, is as you get older to keep the youthful energy. So I try to do that. Matter of fact, I'm probably a little more physically fit now than I was at that age, because I didn't, you know, do a lot of exercise in college. It was afterwards that I got onto that. So
after the beer belly?
Yeah, well, you know how it is, and eating all those cheeseburgers and everything. Now I'm vegan, exercise for an hour every morning, you know, and it gives me a lot of stamina. So.
Well, it's a good inspiration. It's good role model for our students. You know, a lot of people look up to you, so that's good.
Oh, well, I'm flattered.
Well, anyways, I think we should move back to the music questions, because, I mean, that's something that everyone wants to know about. Everyone loves it. So, I mean, how many bands have you been in?
Wow.
I mean, can you even remember?
I probably couldn't count. I got into bands, got the guitar when I was 10, and then I probably got into a band, you know, if you want to call it that, kind of a loose group, maybe like 12, 13, you know, and I'm 50 years old now, and I've been in and out of bands the whole time, you know. So it is. Once I was trying to think of all the different people that I've had the privilege of playing in bands with, and I can remember some of them real well, and then other people, you know, maybe you didn't do it as frequently, and so it's harder to remember. But met some great people along the way.
I mean, bands are great. You don't really know what you're going to expect sometimes.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does keep you on your toes.
Especially when the music's playing, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like right now, anything can happen. You don't know.
Anything can happen.
So, this is kind of a funny question too. Have you ever thought about giving it all up, and just living the rock star life? Just hitting the road?
Well, you know, that'd be quite interesting, but I don't know that I have the talent that it takes. And I have great respect for people who can make a living doing music, because it's a hard thing, and a lot of people want to do it, and very few are able to do it. So, but I feel like a rock star with the way the students treat me here is amazing. I mean, I'm really lucky to have that, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, that's very cool. I mean, you have a band. I believe it's called the Flow Riders.
Furlough Riders.
Furlough Riders.
Yes.
So,
and I should, plug that gig.
Yeah,
We're going to
exactly.
be playing April 29th. That's a Friday, a week from Friday, at the Bodega at 9 o'clock. So come and check it out there. I'm going to point right out to that camera. April 29th at the Bodega.
So you have to be 21 to go to that show, though.
Yeah, you do. That's right.
All right.
But we get out there and about on campus too from time to time.
All right. Well, I'm 20, so if I come up to you and could you get me into the Bodega
That
maybe?
I
don't know.
probably couldn't do as
Pull
much as I'd
strings,
like
no?
to, because they'd say, you're sort of skirting the law, which would not be a good thing for someone in my position to be doing. So,
All right. Well, I completely
much as
understand.
I like to, you go on the web though, furloughriders.com.
Furlough Riders, and I'm sure it might end up on YouTube with all
It is.
with cameras.
There's lots of stuff on YouTube.
Very cool.
Yes.
So, I guess the last question on this sheet that I have is, do you have any favorite song lyrics?
Oh, I think the wonderful line from John Lee Hooker in the song Boogie Children, it's in 'em and it's got to come out. I mean, that to me is just really a cool, it's poetry, I love that one.
Poetry, yeah. I don't know. Lyrics are just interesting because
They are.
they can mean anything, really. I mean, some people don't even. Some people, like Bruce, I think Bruce Springsteen was telling us once that he wrote a song, but it wasn't until years later that he really found out why he wrote that or what it really meant. So,
there you go. I guess if he says that, wow, yeah.
well, the good news is I got some questions.
I saw that.
just
Yeah,
from-
they just keep coming in.
Exactly.
And you never know.
Yeah, what to expect.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
We have some questions. This is from Sean Mobley, who is, honestly, where would we be without him at the
I know
CST?
Sean Mobley.
Yeah, he's the go-to guy here. He goes, what is something about yourself no one else UWL knows?
Oh, gee, boy, I don't know. My life is kind of an open book, so I think if you sort of think about me, like what you see is what you get. So I don't know,
All right, well, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes you don't want people to know everything about you. So I think if people want to know that answer, they think they got to start hanging out with you more and
There you
just
go.
have conversations. You'll learn a little bit each time.
Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question. This is kind of a funny one. It's from Adam S., and he goes, what is your beer of choice?
I got to say, I used to drink more beer than I do when I was back there in college, and it would be Rolling Rock, because I'm a Pennsylvania guy. But these days, really, I'm more of a glass of white wine kind of guy. I hope that doesn't shatter my image.
Oh, no.
But that's what I like.
I mean, hey, we all have our taste
But,
preferences.
in moderation. That's
Oh,
very
exactly.
important.
Yeah, remember that,
Yeah.
guys, in moderation.
Yes.
Well, anyways, I think we're almost out of time, or not of time, sorry. But thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I know you're busy, so we really appreciate you coming down here and spending half an hour with us.
Thank you. Anytime.
Cool.
All right.
And that was Joe Gow. We interviewed him about half an hour ago. Great interview, good information, good stuff. Well, Profile's closing up today, but a few announcements before the show ends. It's currently Earth Week right now, and there's some events going on throughout the La Crosse community. On Tuesday, the documentary Dirt will be showing at La Crosse Public Library Auditorium from 7 to 8:35. And Wednesday, we have Fruitless Fall book discussion with the People's Food Co-op at 7 to 8. And Saturday, we have a bluff hike. So just fun stuff to look forward to. This is Aaron Urbellis at WMCM's Profile, and I hope you had a good time watching us talk to some cool people.